Good afternoon, everyone. Before I officially call our hearing, I just want to check in with my court reporter to make sure she is ready and you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Great, thank you. All right, now calling proceeding number 23A-0244E. We are on the record in the hearing scheduled before the Colorado Public Utilities Commission. My name is Melody Mirbaba, and I am the administrative law judge who is assigned to this case. It is 4:30 p.m. on September 19th, 2023. This public comment hearing was scheduled by decision number R23-0461-I. This is a public comment hearing on Black Hills Colorado Electric LLC's Transportation Electrification Plan for years 2024 to 2026. I want to welcome and thank everybody for being here to provide public comment. I want to first go over some preliminary matters before we get to the public comment portion of our hearing. First, consistent with commission practice, we are webcasting this hearing, and we have a court reporter taking down everything that's being said. We are also recording this hearing. I'd like everyone just to please keep your microphones muted until it is your turn to speak. That will help us avoid background noise so that we can maintain a good record in this proceeding. Now I just want to go over very quickly how the hearing will proceed. Anyone who would like to provide public comment, please confirm that your name that is shown on Zoom is accurate so that I can call on you should you decide to provide public comment. Everyone was required to register for this hearing, so your name should appear as you input it when you registered. When it is time to take comment, I'll ask for you to use Zoom's raise a hand feature to signal that you would like to provide comment. To do so, click on the reactions button and raise your hand. If you no longer wish to speak or you have finished speaking, please lower your hand. Be sure to leave your hand raised until you have been called upon. If you're having any trouble with the raise a hand feature, you may also turn on your video camera to signal that you wish to speak. For anybody who is participating in this hearing by telephone, you will need to dial *9 to use the raise a hand feature on Zoom. And then I will call on you referring to the last 3 digits of your phone number, or if I do see a name on the screen, I will use the name that's on the screen. When your number or name is called, for those of you appearing by phone, you can dial *6 to unmute yourself. Everyone providing comment should please remember to speak slowly, clearly, and loudly so that our court reporter can catch everything that you are being said. She may interrupt you if she cannot hear you. Please avoid speaking over me, and I will do the same for you. This sort of a thing makes it difficult to capture everything that is being said on the record. If somebody else covers all the points that you intended to include in your comments, please feel free during your public comments to state that you agree with the points made by that person. Right now, I don't anticipate putting any kind of time limit on how long people can provide comment, as I believe we have enough time to take in everybody's comments, but I think we'll just have to see how the hearing progresses. I'm just going to ask everyone to also be patient. The point of this hearing is to try to make sure everybody that wishes to speak has that opportunity, and that can require patience. In addition to providing oral comments here today, I just want to outline a couple of other ways that you may provide public comment. You can do so in writing. The commission tends to prefer written comments, primarily because people tend to be clearer or more persuasive in writing. However, all comments will be given the same weight, whether made in writing or verbally. If you want to provide written comments, there are 4 primary ways to do so. You can file your written comments through the Commission's electronic filing system that you can find and register for free at the Commission's website at www.dora.state.co.us/PLS EFI homepage. You can also just go to the Commission's website at puc.colorado.gov and click on the File a Comment or Complaint option. You may also submit comments via email or via US mail. If you choose the email, US mail, or File a Comment or Complaint option on our website, please be sure to include the proceeding number for this case so it gets routed to the correct case number, and that is proceeding number 23A-0244E. In addition, you can also provide verbal comments by leaving a voicemail message at 303-869-3490. Again, please, in your voicemail, identify the proceeding number so that your message can be routed into this proceeding. All right, now I am ready to begin the portion of our hearing in which we can take public comment. So I will ask everybody who would like to provide public comment to go ahead and use Zoom's raise a hand feature. As I already mentioned, you need to, if you're participating by phone, dial *9. If you're participating by video conference, click on the reactions button and then raise a hand. So I will go ahead and pause and see if we've got anybody who has used the raise a hand feature. I tend to wait a couple of extra minutes in case anybody is just struggling to use that feature. And as I mentioned before, you can also turn on your camera if you really are having a hard time using that feature. Okay, I think we have one person that has used the raise a hand feature. So I want to go ahead and call on the person identified on my screen as Laura Getz. If you could please unmute yourself and turn on your camera. And before you begin your public comments, please introduce yourself, state and spell your name. And if you are speaking on behalf of anybody other than yourself, please let us know who you are speaking on behalf of.
Thank you. My name is Laura Getz. I am a Black Hills Energy customer and a resident of the city of Pueblo. I am speaking on behalf of myself for this hearing. So thank you for the opportunity to make a public comment today. I am speaking as someone who does work in the electric utility sector. I do not work for Black Hills, but I'm very familiar with what's involved with a process of trying to appropriately allocate funding for things like rebates, for taking into account the potential benefits to the grid of time of use rates. I am also a new electric vehicle owner as of last November. And I had filed for a Black Hills Energy rebate, which put me on the time of use rate. Again, I'm a big fan of the time of use rate concept. I think it's really important to the electrical grid moving forward. But the way that Black Hills' specific time of use rate is structured, it's quite hard to avoid significant billing penalties as a result. So we've pretty much spent most of this year as a household attempting to shift all of our usage off peak, including the hottest months of the year, making my family and toddlers sweat it out, until after 7 p.m. to turn air conditioning on. And most months in all months, we've managed to shift over 90% of our usage off peak. But even in the last couple of months, 7% of our usage was on peak, and our bill costs still went up 10%. And so, finding on this rate, you can do everything in your power as a household, assuming you have the means to do so, to shift, and you're still going to end up penalized at the end of the day. And I think what the average household could experience on that time of use rate could be extremely significant. Even on those months where we managed to get 98% off peak, we maybe saved $1. And so I, as it stands, the time of use rate is not an effective mechanism for driving behavior in the way that I've seen other time of use rates be able to penalize and reward for usage. And so I am in agreement with removing the time of use rate as it stands in this new plan. But it certainly would be open to a different crafting of a time of use rate for Black Hills Energy, understanding the importance of that, or perhaps a mechanism that still encouraged EV owners to charge off peak, because often that is a very easy behavior to shift while not penalizing the household for the bulk of remaining usage, so that there's still a grid benefit and a shift. So that is my comment on time of use. Overall, I would also encourage Black Hills. First, I would applaud their use or their prioritization of multifamily housing for charging in this new plan. It's going to be really critical to find creative ways to reach pockets of the population where installing sufficient electric vehicle charging for ownership of an electric vehicle would be quite challenging. To that point, I would encourage Black Hills to continue to seek out means to also supplement rebates for vehicle purchases, especially used vehicles. I understand why they have removed the low income bonus rebate for vehicles themselves. But if there is an effective way to avoid the problems that they were encountering in allocating those funds to individuals, I think it would be huge, because when you're rebating chargers, at that point, folks have already made the decision to make the vehicle purchase. And right now, attention needs to be placed on those making the decision about which type of vehicle they are going to purchase. And that's the more significant driver of change. And then finally, I'll just say, from an equity perspective, we know many people do not have the ability to own a vehicle for one reason or another, or they choose not to. And to make sure we're really providing value to this segment of the population, targeting carpooling, car sharing, public transportation in any way that we can, whether that's additional commercial level rebates for some of these types of operations, or some additional funds that are allocated to the purchase of those vehicles themselves. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your really thoughtful comments. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that you took the time to put all that together and to join us here today. So now I want to turn to, again, inviting anybody else who would like to provide comment to let me know that by using the raise a hand feature on Zoom, which you can do by selecting reactions and then using raise a hand, or dialing *9 if you're here by phone. I'll just note it does not appear that we have anybody by phone, but I want to give that instruction just in case I'm incorrect about that. So I will pause a few minutes and see if anybody uses the raise a hand feature. And if you are, again, having problems, just turn on your video camera. That will give me a clue that you might want to say something. All right, I just want the record to reflect I've waited several minutes and nobody else has joined us or used the raise the hand feature or otherwise indicated that they would like to provide public comment. I will just go over what the next steps are. And if by chance anybody joins us or uses the raise the hand feature while I'm going over that, then we'll go back and take additional comment. Otherwise, really what happens next is we would adjourn our public comment hearing. And then the next steps in this case are that there is at present, there's an evidentiary hearing scheduled in this case for October 23rd, 24th, and 26th. That hearing is going to be webcast, just as this hearing is webcast. There is also the option to appear in person at the commission's office to observe the hearing, but you may also watch the hearing from the comfort of your home on the commission's webcast. The only time that webcast is turned off is when there are confidential or highly confidential matters that have to be discussed during the hearing. Otherwise, the entirety of the hearing will be webcast. And again, those hearing dates are October 23rd, 24th, and 26th. I cannot tell you what's going to happen between now and then, whether there will be changes to those hearing dates. That's always possible. So as we get closer and if you are interested in observing the hearing, you can get onto the commissioner's calendar of event available on our website and just confirm that it's scheduled still. In order to view the hearing on the dates I just outlined, you go to www.puc.colorado.gov/webcasts. And we only have 2 hearing rooms that we use for the most part, and you'll just select the one that's been assigned for our case. That is also posted on our calendar of events on the commission's website. After the evidentiary hearing, I will issue a written recommended decision on the application. And if you want to provide additional written comments, I would suggest that you do so leading up until the hearing if you would like me to consider those in drafting my written recommended decision. After my written recommended decision, there are options for the parties to the case to appeal my decision to the commission, after which the commission will issue a final decision on the application. All right, it is just now 4:50. And I'm just going to pause for one more minute to see if anybody has changed their mind and decided they want to provide comments. Again, use the raise a hand feature on Zoom, either by clicking on the reactions button and selecting raise a hand or dialing *9 on your phone. It doesn't appear to me that anybody new has joined since I last paused, but I always like to err on the side of caution and give as many opportunities as I can for members of the public to provide comments. So I'll go ahead and pause for at least one more minute before we adjourn the hearing. All right, well, I'll let the record reflect that I have waited another minute and nobody else has raised a hand. We have nobody else who has joined our hearing. And so with that, I will go ahead and adjourn our hearing and thank you all for attending and for the public comments that were submitted. Wish you all a great rest of your day and appreciate your participating in our hearing. We are now adjourned.